Hi everyone, let's read some paranormal stories from Reddit today while we get ready because it's a super cozy day where I live. It's raining outside, it's stormy, so I'm gonna bring those stormy vibes in. I downloaded this really cute desktop companion from Steam. It's called Virtual Cottage. It's super cute. So it has like a timer and like you can do a to-do list and you can pick like rain noises, wind noises, bird noises, fire crackling, whatever. But for the theme of this video, we're going to bring in some stormy sounds. So let me pull it up and show you guys. Look how cute. Storm, wind, light rain. We're going with storm today. I'm going to keep the virtual cottage right on the screen so we can watch her while she works. She's so cute. I love her. But I'm going to get ready and I'm going to try to read these at the same time. It's going to be kind of hard. Okay, we're going to go in with the Round Lab Birch Juice Moisturizing Cream. This is my favorite moisturizer. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see it. I'll add a picture of it. It's so good. I'm almost done with it. It's just the best for my dry skin. Like, and underneath makeup, it looks superior. Okay, let's get started. So this is from user RoboJobo27, experience during a welfare check. I'll keep this relatively short and any details that could identify people or locations vague. So I work at a job that involves dealing with people who are at varying stages of life and aim to help them stay in their own homes for as long as possible. We have one individual who we see regular. They're fairly elderly, friendly, and chatty enough, but often very emotional about the passing of their spouse. They often say they wake at night and imagine they're standing at the bottom of the bed. They say it brings them great comfort. I totally get that, but for me, I'm like, do not come visit me in that way. Like, you can visit me in my dreams, but not in person. That would really freak me out. Like, I don't want to see anyone standing at the bottom of my bed, even if it's my loved ones. That freaks me out. Also, I'm gonna put on some, what is this? The Palmer's Coconut Oil Lip Balm. It just helps while I do my makeup to have something on. Get them prepped, huh? Okay, let's continue. So today I arrive at the house. There are lights on, but no signs of life. After knocking on the doors and windows for several minutes, I decide to call a colleague to find me the access code for their key safe, a small box by the door which can be used in situations such as this. I unlock the door and ring the bell once more. I enter and call their name out loud. No response. I walk further in. The house is a bungalow, so set across a single story, but is fairly large in size, huge open rooms. I do a fairly thorough walk around of the entire property, calling out all names. Again, no response. I stand at the door preparing to leave and lock up when I hear what I strongly believe to be a voice saying, "In here," from one of the bedrooms at the bottom of the hall. This startled me at first, but I decided to go back and have a look in case I'd somehow missed this person. When I get down, the room is completely empty and the tap in the ensuite is running. I give one last call out and wait for a response. When I confirm the house is empty, I run as fast as I can for the front door, lock up, and don't look back. When I returned to my base, I was able to confirm that the person had been taken to the hospital in the early hours of the morning and that they were safe and well. The house was most definitely empty. The thing is, I so believe that. I so believe that. I mean, I've heard people in my personal life, like even when I was a kid, I've heard stories from people who were like, trustworthy sources. Like, why would they feel the need to tell me anything? But about hearing voices like that. I remember one time I heard a story where the person heard their name in the middle of the night. Oh, also, we're going in with like a miniature cosmetic CC cream. It's like a foundation you can use every day. You can really build this up to be full coverage, or you can do super light coverage. It's the best. Honestly, if you have dry skin, this is great. It has SPF 50, so it's great for daytime wear, even nighttime wear. The only thing you guys have to remember with nighttime, if you use flash photography with foundation that has sunscreen in it, it's gonna have that white cast in your photos. So maybe just avoid flash photography. This is just a great everyday foundation. Anywho, so this person told me that in the middle of the night, they would hear their name called. Like, I'm gonna use like a random name. Let's do my name. They would hear Gabby, Gabby, Gabby. And it would come from what sounded like was the faucet. That's why this story reminded me of something, because they said the room is completely empty and the tap in the ensuite is running, which is so weird. Maybe there's like some type of connection with water. Let's move on to the next one. We're using a beauty blender to blend this in. It's just my favorite. Like, even if I go in with a foundation brush, I'll always finish off with a beauty blender. It just melts your makeup so perfectly. Ooh, this is interesting. This is from I Don't Think I Care Kinda. Tell me the creepiest thing a child has ever said to you. I'll go first. My 2.5-year-old pulled my necklace out of my shirt. No biggie. He plays with it often. I ask him, "It's beautiful, right? I love it." And he deadpan looks at me and says, "Yeah, Mima's." That's what we called my grandma who raised me and passed away almost 5 years before he was born. It was her necklace, and he only heard us speak about her in passing combos, never about the necklace. Not super creepy, but these kids, man. To me, kids know stuff, okay? They are on. Oh my god, it looks kind of crazy right now. It looks fine in person. It just looks so washed out. We're gonna add some bronzing drops. Anywho, I believe that kids can see stuff that we cannot see. I really do. I think that they are, I don't know, just more in tune. Let's move on to some concealer. This one right here, we have Tarte Shape Tape. My shade is light neutral. And let's read the next story. This is from Farcrest 7984. Okay, I used to babysit for a pretty well-off family. They had 3 children. The oldest was 4, the middle was 2, and the youngest was still an infant at the time. All 3 kids had separate bedrooms on the top floor of the house. The way it was set up, they had a living area beneath a walkway. The walkway had one child's room at one end and the other 2 children had rooms on the other end, which were connected by a bathroom. I would typically do evening nighttime babysitting and the parents would come back pretty late. On this particular evening, I had to put the kids to bed already. The youngest went down right at 7 o'clock and the middle and oldest both went to bed at 8:30. We read 3 stories and then I went into each room once they had laid down to do lullabies and rub backs until they were asleep. Both kids slept with their doors open. It was winter time, so it was dark outside already. I mean, pitch black. This house had enormous windows and skylights and was completely surrounded by trees, so it was either serene or a little spooky in the dark, depending on how you look at it. Ugh! Once they were asleep, I returned to the living room, which was below the walkway. I sat on the couch on my phone probably for an hour and a half, and then the oldest just starts screaming. I mean, at the top of his lungs. He had never done something like that before. They usually all sleep pretty peacefully through the night. I ran up the stairs as quickly as I could, thinking something could have happened. When I got up there, he was bolt upright in bed, pointing at a wooden rocking chair in the corner and just yelling and crying hysterically, saying over and over again, "I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that." Mind you, it's just about pitch black minus the minimal light from the hallway. Obviously, I was like, I don't like that either. So I ended up letting him sleep on the couch downstairs next to me. But yeah, that wasn't my favorite. Oh my god. I'm so glad this person believed this child. That's so scary. I can relate to this kid. I'm just gonna do random stories of my own, I guess, too. Let's also move on. I'm gonna use a concealer, technically. It's like the Maybelline Fit Me concealer, but I'm gonna use just a little bit, and we're gonna do some bronzing on the face. I've literally had this for like probably too long. Like, it's probably expired, honestly, but listen, I'm gonna get my use out of it, okay? I'm not gonna buy concealer all the time. Why would I? That's why I'm starting to get all these miniatures. It really does last me forever. So anyway, with this kid, he's like screaming and he's just over and over again saying, "I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that." When I was a kid, I was doing something in my house, right? And I go back to my room. I think that I'm home alone. Like, in my head, I thought that I was home alone, I'm pretty sure. And my room is like pitch black. My hand is the room, okay? I'm walking into the room this way. Imagine this is my bed. Now my hand's my bed, right? So all of a sudden, I see this dark shadow just rise like that, okay? Like, literally so slowly, and I froze. I always wondered how I would react to seeing something, because I never have, knock on wood, and I never will, but I always wondered how I would react, and this is how I reacted when I was a kid. So all of a sudden, I see this black shadow just like slowly rise, and I'm like, I froze in the moment. I just started screaming over and over and over again. And then apparently it's my brother. So he starts coming up to me and I'm like bawling my eyes out. So basically what happened was he was going to scare me and then he started feeling bad. So he thought that if he just went up slowly, it wouldn't scare me, but it scared me more. So I can relate to this kid, because when you see something, you're just like, sometimes you freeze and you're just like, ah, ah. Like him repeating the same thing over and over again. So me. Anyway, see, now we have like, oh, you can't really see on camera, can you? I think I need to fix my camera settings really quick. Hold on. Sorry, I fixed my camera settings because it's raining outside. Everything looks weird, and I'm just getting used to coming back on YouTube, okay? So give me a break. Let's move on to blush and reading this next story. It has 1.4 1,000 likes. Okay, this is from user Fatass with 2 kids. Love. When I was a few months pregnant with my daughter, before we knew she was a girl, I was folding laundry while my son watched Care Bears in the living room. Shout out, Care Bears. And out of nowhere, he just started sobbing and asking where his baby sister was. He was 2.5 and had a slight speech delay, but this time he was speaking somewhat more clearly. He started trying to tell me that they hurt her hands and her legs. When I asked what he was talking about, he told me his old mommy, his bad mommy. They hurt him and his sister, and everything went black. Ugh, that gives me chills. And they chose to come to me and my husband. I kind of freaked out. I'm not super religious or into anything spiritual like that, and I was hormonal and worried my son had been exposed to something strange or scary. Yeah, I would too. Like, imagine your kid is just saying this, like, they hurt her, they hurt her. And you're like, maybe my child's trying to like make sense of something that happened. Like, ugh, your mind would just go to so many places. By the way, this is the Happy Blush from Rare Beauty. It's so good. Love. It's just so easy to blend it. Like, look at that. Like, it's so blended. We did a little on the nose, a little on the chin. All right. But I was a stay at home mom. He was never out of my sight. Not even my parents would babysit him at that age. So I kind of pocketed it in the back of my mind. Now, when my daughter was born, my son was obsessed with her, and he would constantly check up on her and count all of her fingers and toes constantly. And my daughter was an incredibly clingy baby. She breastfed for almost 3 years and would only fall asleep in my arms. If I left a room for that first year, she'd start screaming bloody murder. When she started talking in full sentences around 2 years old, she was a bit more advanced than her brother. She started calling me her good mama, and she would say it constantly. 2 years old saying, "You're the good mama?" That's crazy. When I would ask her why she was calling me that, she'd tell me I wasn't bad. I didn't hurt her like her bad mama. I'm telling y'all, hearing that come out of her mouth almost 3 years after my son had his tiny freak out, knowing I've never brought it up around her or made it a point to tell anyone it at all other than my husband, it freaked me out. I started crying really hard too. It just really messed with my head because it was coming from both of my kids. I don't know if my son ever talked to his baby sister about their bad mama. They don't talk about it now at all now that they're older. But I do go a little easy on them and spoil them a tiny bit too, just in case there's truth to what they've told me. I mean, that's what I would do too. I mean, the thing is with any paranormal story, like, it can always be debunked, or people can say, the parents are making kids say that, or parents are making it up, or whatever the case may be. I mean, I remember, like, this might be fake too, and it was a TV show, but I remember there was a show about kids who would talk about their past lives, and it would be like a kid who had been in war who was like super scared of fireworks and being very specific about certain things like who they were or where they died or blah blah blah, and the parents would look into it and it turns out it was real. Like, I don't know what I believe, if I believe in reincarnation or what, but you just never know. And at the end of the day, like, if my kid was telling me something and it was affecting them like, to this point, I'll always, give them the time of day and hear them out, no matter what I believe or don't believe in, because they're children. And that's scary for a little person, even if it wasn't necessarily paranormal related. Like, that fear is still there and it's still real. So I don't know. Okay, we are done with brows. I need to get my brows done. They're in rough shape, honestly. I'm gonna fill in my brows just a tad. This is such a dupe for the Anastasia Brow Wiz, by the way. It's the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. Anyway, made them a little bit more defined. You probably can't even tell, but it doesn't matter because we're not going anywhere anyway. I use the Got To Be eyebrow gel. This brand also does like a hefty gel, like hair gel that they're known for, but I use this. It doesn't even say eyebrow gel, but I think I heard that it's good for eyebrows, and then I just bought it, and I've used it ever since. So I'm not doing my lashes today. I'm gonna leave them alone. So all we really have left is lips, and then we can read some more stories. We're gonna use my usual lip today. It's the Rhode Peptide Lip Tint in the shade Toast. Here she is. Thank you, Miss Bieber. It's super neutral and light, but I do like how juicy it makes your lips look. I could go in with a liner, but like, ugh. Who wants to deal with that right now? And then, of course, I'm going in with Clinic Black Honey because I can build it up or I can make it super chill. And I think today it's like super chill. And bringing some definition into the lips. Now we're looking good and we're ready. We can focus on reading. So this is from Daisy Steak. My son was 7 years old and close to death himself. About 6 months before a bone marrow transplant, his dog and best friend became very ill right around the same time he did. The vet told us his dog was not going to make it because of acute kidney failure. We had to break the news to our son. It was awful. He absolutely lost his mind in anger. You're wrong. Elvis is not going to die now. He won't die until a year after we move into the blue house. At the time, we weren't even looking for a new home. But I'm not kidding you, that is exactly how it all played out. The dog pulled through. 6 months later, my son ended up needing a bone marrow transplant, and we ended up moving. I'll be damned if we didn't end up in a blue house. 1 year after moving in, that's when our sweet Elvis passed on. It still gives me the shivers when I think about how insistent our son was and how incredibly right he was about all of it. He's 15 now and doesn't remember any of it. Wow, 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 wow. How do they know? How do they know? They just have this like there's something extra to kids. Read another good one. I don't want to see any ghost photos. I don't like photos. I don't like photos. This is from chicken nugget underscore 000. I woke up from a dream that said do not go to sea. The next day, this happened. All right. A few days ago, I had a really weird experience, and honestly, I still don't know what to think. For some context, me and my boyfriend went camping and were planning to go paddleboarding. We originally wanted to go out on the sea because it's something we both love doing and have done before. The night before, though, I had this really vivid dream. I was holding an old button satellite phone when it suddenly started ringing really loud and flashing a green light. Then a message popped up that just said, "Do not go to sea." I woke up remembering it so clearly that I told my boyfriend about it. We both thought it was weird, so we decided to paddle on a river instead. What we didn't realize until afterwards was that the river was actually connected to the ocean. Everything started off completely fine. The weather looked good and the water was calm. Then, out of nowhere, the weather changed. A really strong wind picked up and the river became instantly choppy. There was nobody else around. I ended up completely soaked, freezing, and with mild hypothermia. The only way back was paddling against the current, which was exhausting and honestly pretty scary. At some point, I just wanted to give up. When it was all over, I suddenly remembered my dream and the fact the river was actually connected to the ocean. I know it could just be a coincidence, but I can't stop thinking about it. Ooh, really hard sometimes to like believe in dreams and trust your gut. The thing is, I think that if it's really profound and it really hits you, like you have to consider it. I have mixed feelings about it. I think that if it was so specific about do not go out to sea, I would probably listen. Okay, I think this is our last one. This is from ordinary-chicken7154. I think our intuition saved us. This happened back in August 2024 when my now fiance, his mother, and I went to Nova Scotia for a wedding. We had stayed in various hotels, Airbnbs along the way and while staying in Nova Scotia. After the wedding, we wanted to get out of Antigonish and I decided to look up fun places to stay. I came across this listing for a cottage on a hobby farm in a place called Christmas Island. It sounded extremely interesting and the photo seemed amazing. It was rustic, quirky cottage that was home to ducks, geese, chickens, and one massive singular pig. How does it feel to live my dream? It was available for last minute booking, and I showed my fiance and his mother the pictures, and we were all super interested. I booked it, and we headed on our way. We had to cross a bridge, and I am telling you, the second we crossed the bridge, I felt very unsettled. I brushed it off and kept it to myself. That's the thing. Like, I felt that feeling of like unsettled, like just off. Like, I feel off. Whether that's an environment or certain people, like, those are the situations when like your gut is trying to tell you something and maybe you should listen. I don't know. I brushed it off and kept it to myself. We couldn't check in until after 3 p.m., so we decided to grab an early dinner. It's a very small island, so there was not many restaurants, but we found one by the water. This is giving what is it called? Widow's Bay, if you guys watch that. Anyway, I'm not kidding when I say the restaurant seemed fake. It looked like a set on a movie. Very strange. Very Widow's Bay. If you guys haven't seen that, it's like an Apple TV show. It's really good. Watch it. It's kind of spooky, but it's good. We got our food and ate it on the patio. It was next to the water and had what should be beautiful views of the water and mountains, but it just gave me creepy vibes. And I later would find out my fiance and his mother felt the same way, but we all kept it to ourselves. Finding the Airbnb was almost impossible. It was in the middle of nowhere and didn't have a real road. The address he gave us led to a completely different house, so he had to manually give us directions. Should have been a red flag. We get there and everything looks the same as the photos, but it also doesn't. I hope that makes sense. This guy comes out and there wasn't anything inherently strange about him, but something seemed off. He mentioned that his girlfriend was in the house and kept mentioning it, but the way he said it, I truly don't think anyone but him was there. Okay, maybe he was just scared. Like, I've done that where I'm like, my boyfriend's in the bathroom to the maintenance guy, or like, my boyfriend's gonna be home any minute. I don't know. Anyway, he showed us around the farm and brought us to the cottage that was next to his house. He had one key for the cottage and didn't give it to us. He kept it. He left us to get settled, and my fiance wanted to check out the beach that's about a 10-minute drive away, and his mom decided to stay. We left, and on the drive to the beach, my fiance and I didn't say a word, and that's not like us. We got to the beach, and it felt extremely off. Everything just felt off. Do you know in shows where the character realizes the background is fake and pushes the painted backdrop? That's how everything felt. The restaurant, the cottage, the beach. That's wild. My fiance and I were standing in the water, not saying a word, and he finally says, I don't like this place. And after that, we started to talk about how something felt off and scary and we wanted to leave. I get that. My fiance is very level headed, and this was the only time I've seen him be genuinely terrified. We rushed back to the Airbnb. Thankfully, the owner was not outside. We walked back into the cottage normally to not alert him, and when we walked in, his mom was sitting on the couch, and we said, we want to leave. And she said, I'm glad you said something. I don't feel safe here and I don't think I could sleep a wink. Okay, so everybody's feeling the vibes. Like, they are like, something is off. Like, at that point, everybody's feeling it. I'm getting the fuck out of there. I'm done. This to me is beginning of a horror movie. Like, I'm so good. Goodbye. We packed up everything so fast and raced to the car. We were terrified, loading the car with our luggage. At this point, it was becoming dark outside, and as I said, there was no real road. The entire way back to the bridge, we were all terrified. Oh no. We all had a sense of impending doom and felt sick to our stomach. We got an hour away from Christmas Island and rented a motel room. We stayed in the same room that night and discussed how we all felt scared and creeped out as soon as we crossed the bridge. We don't know what caused it, but we have all never felt that way again. Wow. Oh, okay, they said they did find out that the place was connected to the Appalachian Mountains. All right, well, that was wild. Moral of the story, believe your kids, trust your intuition, and don't stay somewhere where you feel uncomfortable because you just never ever know. I mean, nothing crazy happened, but still, like, what could have been, and if something feels off, it probably is. It probably is. And it might not be like a feeling thing, it might just be like you're good at pattern recognition, context clues. Use that to your advantage. Maybe next time we'll do some Appalachian Mountain stories. I don't know. Leave a comment down below. Like, I'm open to your recommendations, obviously. But yeah, thanks for getting ready with me. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Do all of those things. But that's it from me.